guys. That's fine. What's up, guys? My name's Bryn, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Like I said, my name's Bryn. I am a graphic design major. I don't know why I keep telling you guys that, because I'm really not doing anything about that right now as far as this channel goes. I guess I kind of did in my acrylic video, the little the signs video I just did, but I didn't really show you. I might be doing some more videos on that soon, we'll see. However, if you follow me over on my Instagram, which I will leave my little handle right down here. If you follow me on my Instagram, a couple weeks ago, I posted on my story just like a questionnaire of like how people feel about plants, indoor plants, like house plants. I asked people like, are they plant parents? I said, are you a part of the PPPs, Proud Plant Parents, which I actually might end up turning into a pin. That'd be fun. But yeah, I asked how you guys felt about plants, and I actually got quite a big variety of people that were already like plant parents, and some people who said that they do not know how to care for plants whatsoever. So today, I thought that I would just do a little indoor house plant video. Right now, from where you guys always see me, it doesn't look like I really care about plants. I only have that one and that one that you guys can see. But this whole wall and above you has plants, so a little deceiving, I guess. But anyways, I thought I would start with kind of my background with plants and how it's all going. This is very new. Well, not very new. I think this started around, let's just see. I have stories on my plants. So I started doing this. Oh, it's almost been a year. No, 37 weeks ago. So whatever that was. My first plant was my aloe. And it's actually right there, and it's doing pretty well. It's a little sunburnt, but it's right there. That was my first plant, and then you guys can go ahead and look on my Instagram story to kind of see my additions of plants. I went pretty hard, and I don't regret it at all because I love my plants so very much, and sorry, and I wouldn't change a thing. However, I live with a lot of people, so most of my plants are in my bedroom and kind of overtaking my bedroom. Also, when we got Nugget, our cat, I had to put all my plants way up high because I was so nervous that she would like die if she ate some of my plants, because I know that not all my plants are pet friendly, but so far she has shown no interest in any plants. Yeah, so like 37 weeks ago, I think it was around October. I don't know when 37 weeks ago was, but I think it was around October of last year. I was like, I want to become a plant mom, and I got all like excited about it. And my first one was that pothos, and I actually would like to start all my plants from like babies. I like to start from like propagating them. I don't want something huge because I'm like, what's the fun? What's the fun if I already have a big plant and then I just like it gets bigger? Like, I want to see them grow from babies into big plants. So a lot of my plants are smaller, which is very convenient right now being in this apartment. When Noah and I get married in September, we're planning on moving to Colorado in October, and I'm really excited because then I can decorate my whole apartment with plants. So that's what he's getting himself into, and he already knows that, so it's fine. Anyways, this video is gonna be split into a couple sections. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes all right here. The first section is going to be choosing a plant that's right for your space. The second is going to be important things you'll need to start your plant journey. The third is going to be watering, because that's, you know, how everything survives. And then I'm going to go through a couple, like, my personal favorite easy care ones, and then, like, just some of my favorites. And repotting. We're going to go through repotting, soils, maintenance, and I might do some propagating. I don't know, I'm not really too great at propagating, but I do have a couple things I think that need to be propagated. So I'm gonna start by prefacing this video with some of my tips do come from this book. It's called The New Plant Parent by Daryl Chang. I got this at my local plant store called Somewhere That's Green. Shout out to them. They're the reason I have a plant addiction. But this book has been extremely helpful, and if you are new to plants and you want to know more, I definitely recommend getting this book. I'm halfway through it right now, and I'm just learning a lot. So some of the tips will be coming out of this book, just a fair warning. And then some just kind of like what I've learned, and then off the internet, and all the same things. So, first thing, choosing a plant that's right for your space. What you want to do is kind of look around your room and think, okay, what kind of light do I have? Also, where is your window facing? As for me, I kind of got the sucky end of the deal here, because I have a north-facing window, which is kind of like the one that you really don't want to have is a north-facing window, but that's what I got, and I don't really have anything else, so gotta deal with it. You want to be aware of what kind of light your plants are getting. So there are some different ways to do this. There's just kind of looking around and being like, so, this one probably gets a lot of light because it's on the windowsill. It's not going to be direct sunlight, but, we're working with what we got. You can look around here and say, hey, that's a dark corner. That probably wouldn't be a good spot to put a plant. Or you also need to do some research on what kind of plants need what kind of light. This was my first big mistake becoming a plant parent. I thought that every plant needed the windowsill light, and that's super wrong. I knew that a couple plants didn't, but I was like, they all need light. They just need some light. So it's important to know what plants need what kind of light. So, for example, cacti and succulents like bright indirect or direct light, and they like to dry out their soil. Two things that are very important for the cacti and succulents. However, there are other plants like they can survive in lower light situations. So basically, based on where you live and what your space is looking like, make sure that you either talk to the person who's working there when you're going to buy a plant, or there is an app called Plant Light, and if you stick your phone down where your plant is and face it towards the light, you can see how much light your plant is getting. But yeah, you can look up what kind of light your plants need, and it's pretty easy to figure out. Bright light is obviously direct sunlight, indirect sunlight, or bright indirect light is kind of away from the sun, maybe a little reflection of the sun somewhere. So just kind of gauge it. My plants all get pretty good light up in there and down there. It's very indirect, but they do their thing. So that's all I really care about. Yeah, just make sure you're not getting a plant that needs bright light if you don't have bright light. Another way you can do this, and what I do for my aloes and stuff, is buying a grow light. So I have a grow light, and I put my succulents and my cacti under the grow light. I need to turn it off for certain hours of the day because my aloe was starting to get burnt, and I honestly just kind of keep it on as a nice light, and I'm ruining my plants. But it's okay, because I know that, and I need to turn it off. But anyways, that's fine. Section number 2. Important things you need to start. So this is pretty basic. I know that all you people who are already plant parents are probably like, shut up, Ren, we already know this. But, we like to just start with the basics. It's fine. So the first thing you're going to need is pots with good drainage. I made this mistake, holy moly. Do not get pots that don't have holes in them. There's just no point. Most if not all of your plants will need some sort of drainage, and a lot of people will put rocks in the bottom, which actually is not good, because then the moisture will still stay down in the bottom of your pot and can cause root rot. If you leave the rocks down there, lots of excessive moisture in the bottom of your pots, not good. So get pots with holes. There's just no point to not have a pot with a hole or some sort of drainage system, because you're just setting up yourself for failure at that point. The next is getting a good soil. And really, I mean, there's just like very basic soils, and I'll show you guys kind of what I use later on, but you don't need something super fancy for your soil. You just need a good indoor plant soil and perlite, basically, is the two standard things. You will, if you really want to get in depth and have really like great plants, go for the bark chips and the moss and all the other stuff. But if you're just trying to start out and just trying to make your space a little brighter and a little greener and a little fresher, you just need indoor potting mix and perlite, and I will go over that later. Next is a watering can, and the reason I say this is because it is easier to control your watering with your watering can. I don't have one, and I need to get one, and I keep meaning to get one, but I keep forgetting. However, my plants are doing okay, but I feel like I could be doing a lot better if I had a watering can. It's just important to kind of make sure you're evenly watering your plants. The faucet's just like not great. So make sure you get a watering can. It's easy to get. I know I need to get one. Wow, I wonder if you guys can see that. One of my plants is growing right above you and it's really long. And the last couple things, a mister. So I have one that I use every single morning. I just go around and I spritz all my plants. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but I just like to do it. It's like my fun little maintenance thing. And a humidifier. Depending on where you live, humidifiers are pretty important. And the time of year it is. I live in the high desert, so as you can imagine, it's very dry here and probably not the best for plants. So you can probably hear it. I have a very small one, and I really want a bigger one. But a very small one, I'll show you guys right here, my little humidifier. It's very cute. I got it a while ago, but I want like a bigger one. But if you live in a very dry area, or your plants just like a lot of moisture, I definitely recommend getting a humidifier. It will help your plants stay moist, help the leaves, help the growth. The next section is watering. Now, I think this is the most intimidating part of being a new plant parent. Plant parents get scared of watering. And I too was one of those people who was like terrified. The most common thing I heard on my Instagram poll was don't overwater your plants. Like 6 or 7 people were like, don't overwater. But a lot of people don't know what that means. So the bummer is that it is different for every single plant. And you really do have to know your plant and its watering routine. And something that can help are some apps. I have this app called Greg, which can scan your plant. It'll show you what kind of plant it is. It'll change your watering schedule based on where you live and the season that you're in. So that's pretty cool. It's a good starting point. I don't think it's 100% accurate because obviously it can't really tell how much light your plant's getting, and if your plant gets more light, chances are it probably needs more watering, more moist soil. So obviously if you have plants over in the corner, they're probably not going to need as much water as the ones on the windowsill because the windowsill is getting more light, photosynthesizing faster or whatever. So you really do have to know your plants for watering. A lot of easy ways to tell is just by feeling the soil. So if the top 2 inches feel pretty dry for some of your plants, go ahead and water them. Like my Palea needs that, my Pothos and my Monstera, I think generally they like moist soil. But then there's some plants that don't, like your aloe. They want bone dry soil before you water it. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I just want an easy routine, but you can't go by that. You do have to know your plants a little bit when it comes to watering. Just feel the soil, check from there. Don't do every plant every Sunday, because that's not how it works. My snake plant needs water a couple times a month, if that, and my Palea, they need more water. You do have to know your plants. Another thing that comes with watering is aerating. And I didn't know about aerating until very recently, but it totally makes sense. If you have your soil and it's super compact, obviously you're not getting good drainage or good water distribution in your plants. So what you want to do is you want to take chopsticks, or I like to take just one of these wooden skewers, and just kind of poke around your plant. Don't poke near the roots, because then you can cause damage to your plant potentially. Try to go on the rim of your pot, and that'll make it a lot easier. But yeah, just like make sure that there's good drainage, aerate it a couple times. It'll help the water just fully distribute throughout your plant, which is always good. The next section is my personal favorites. So we're gonna start with my absolute favorite plants are the Monstera plants. I have the Swiss one and then the Deliciosa. I'm really bad. Please don't come at me for my pronunciations of my plants because it's not good. I am already aware of that. So my Monstera, it can grow in a lot of low light, so that's very nice. Sorry, I'm looking at my book real quick just to make sure. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. But Monsteras are my absolute favorite. I have a couple. I think I have 4. I have two really baby ones, one that my mom gave me, and then another one that the plant shop I go to gave me. And they're one of my favorites. They are easy maintenance. They're gorgeous. I love how big they get. They can last so long, and they like dry soil. So that's another one that like you don't want to water until the soil's pretty dry. Don't let it completely dry out, but pretty dry. And it's just an easy one to take care of, and it's beautiful. It's like one of my favorite plants ever. So definitely get a Monstera, and eventually as it gets bigger and bigger, they like to grow up things. So I suggest getting like a moss pole if you do start with a big one. You can kind of tie some of the stems to the pole, and it'll like wrap up, and it's gorgeous. So Monsteras are amazing. Definitely recommend getting one of that one. The next one is a snake plant. Snake plants are probably the easiest plant to have ever. It literally needs like no light almost, like people probably can put it in an office. It likes to starve a little bit, and it literally needs water like once or twice a month. You do not ever have to water that thing. Like it will just thrive by dying, which is very weird, but it's a beautiful plant. I think it's like one of the best looking plants out there, which is funny because it's the easiest one to take care of. So if you're looking for a nice little decor piece that you really don't have to worry about, get a snake plant. They're beautiful, and they don't need a lot of light, and they don't need a lot of attention, so might as well. The next one is a prayer plant, and I'm not doing a really good job. As you can see here, this one is not doing too hot, but my other one is doing pretty great. So I have 2, and they do prefer low light, and they prefer their soil moist. Now here's the thing. I got really scared of overwatering all my plants, so I wasn't really watering as much as I probably should have, and I got really busy in the last couple weeks. So I let this one completely dry out almost, and I thought it was dead. Like I was holding it up and it was just wilting, and I was like, that's a bummer. So they do like moist soil. They will tell you when they're thirsty because their leaves will completely drop. They do close up at night, so don't be afraid of that. They open and close. Oh my goodness. That was scary. They do open and close, so be aware of that one. But they're easy to propagate. They like moist soil, and they're really pretty too. They can grow pretty quick. The last one, that's one of the pretty easy ones, is an aloe. Aloes, I'm sure you've heard of an aloe plant. They're pretty easy to take care of. They just need low light and low water. They like to be very bone dry, as I was saying earlier. I have made the mistake of putting it under my grow light for too many hours a day, and it is a little burning. It's getting a little too much light. I probably shouldn't do that as much, but they do like bright light and low water, so pretty easy to maintenance as well. The next ones are my favorite ones. So the first one is obviously my Monstera, so I already talked about that one, so I'm not going to go over that one again. But the second one is a Palea, and I have named it Coin because it looks like little coins. And this one is just so cute. It's going to grow up pretty tall, and if you're getting a lot of light, they want a lot of moisture. So you do want to keep this one moist if you're keeping it in a windowsill like I do, which I probably shouldn't be, but keep the soil a good little moist. and they stem and they grow up like little trees. Mine hasn't done that yet because I think I wasn't taking care of it perfectly, but they have like little pups, and you can and I'll show you mine right here, and you can propagate the pups and give them to other people. It's so fun. Like, that's part of the best part of being a plant parent, is you can literally just give your friends little baby plants, and then they get to watch them grow, and then you get to watch them. It's just an ongoing thing. It's so fun. My next one is my string of arts. Now, this one I wanted so bad. I wanted one so bad. I definitely splurged. And when I first got it, I was so sad because it was not growing, and it would start to grow a little bit, but it would never drape down, and all I wanted was for it to just come down and look so pretty. And finally it has done that, and it's starting to kind of reach my desk, which is a little scary. I might have to move it before we move. I was hoping it wouldn't get all the way down to my face, but literally it's right above the camera, right above it, so probably gonna have to move it soon. It's another easy one to propagate, so I could totally just snip these and then put them in water and give them to friends because they're so fun. I love them. It likes a good watering when it's completely dry. I don't think it likes really bright light, but it is in front of the window and it's doing great. But it is a north-facing window, so there's that. And then the next one, which is kind of a hard one to keep care of, is a fig plant. Mine I got 3 or 4 weeks ago from Home Depot, and I thought it was dead for 2 weeks or a week or something. I was really sad. I was keeping it I put it in a place that wasn't where it needed to be, and I had it kind of far back from a window, which I shouldn't have, but I wanted it there because it looked better there. Anyways, it likes to have a good amount of humidity, a fair amount of water, and plenty of light, so I was doing the complete opposite, and as soon as I moved it towards the window, it perked up. It got healthier, but it is very sensitive to change. And this will go with a lot of your plants. When you bring a plant home, I'll get into this later, but it has to acclimate to its climate and its new surroundings. So this one was not doing well, and it was really sensitive for the first few weeks, and it was dropping a couple leaves. It was browning, and I was like, oh no, I've wanted one of these for so long because they're so pretty, but it kept dropping leaves, and I was like, why is it droopy? What's going on? Turns out it needed more light, and it's okay if it's dropping a leaf because that just means it's trying to acclimate. So don't be afraid when your leaves drop because it's normal. So just a fair warning. So on the point of the acclimating thing, let's talk about repotting. Now, this is something that I thought you just had to do immediately once you bought a plant, and that is not true. So just keep in mind, if you are buying a plant from a nursery or a plant shop or whatever, even if it's somebody else's house that they're giving, your plants have to acclimate to a new environment. It's just the way it goes. So if you bring your plant home, more than likely from a nursery, your plant will be in one of those little plastic, and I'll show right here, just a little plastic thing. And when they're in a nursery, they're probably getting the best care ever. So when your plant comes home and you see it starting to droop, or just it doesn't look as good as you thought it would, don't be afraid, because that's kind of what they do. They have to readjust. So it's okay if they start dropping a couple leaves. Don't be afraid, especially if you're a first time person doing this, it's okay if they drop a couple leaves. But with that, do not repot immediately. Please, please, please don't repot your plants right when you get them, because that will shock them even more. They want to stay in their environment that they're used to for as long as they can, and as soon as your plant starts becoming more adjusted to your environment, and you can tell that they kind of get too big for their pot, which will mean they'll grow a lot, but then they will stop. And if you see them stopping, or if roots are coming out the bottom, I literally have one that has roots coming out the bottom, didn't even know, then you'll need to repot. And another instance you'll need to repot is when you spot disease. So that's another thing you'd have to do research on your plants. If you feel like your plant might have a disease, do research on it, but you'll want to repot for that, and for if your plants are just getting bigger. The only thing with repotting, you don't want the pot that you're putting your plant into, the new one, to be too much bigger than the one that was already in. The reason for that is because if you get too big of a pot and your plant, the root system's only in the middle, and you're watering the outsides or whatever you're doing, your plant won't be getting the right amount of water. So you don't want to go too much farther up in pot size. It also can cause over-rotting, root rot, all this stuff. But just be careful with how much bigger the pot is. Next, we're going to talk about soils. Now, this is pretty basic. I'm not going to go in depth with all the other things you need. Basically, all I'm going to say you need for starters is a good indoor mix and perlite. Perlite is basically like a sponge. It retains moisture, and indoor growing soil, you just need the good nutrients for your plants. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not that hard. All my plants have the exact same potting mix except for some of the cacti. I do put a little bit of cacti soil in there as well. But for the most part, they all have pretty good soil, pretty easy standard soil. Perlite, I do a 2-to-1 mix. I do two, like a ratio of 2-to-1, so more indoor potting mix than perlite. But you can just kind of eyeball it, like just kind of do whatever. So that's what I'm going to say in soils, because I don't know much more about soils, and my plants are doing fine with the soils they got. So the next thing is maintenance. So if you don't want to do maintenance, don't be a plant parent. You will have to do some maintenance. But honestly, it's really fun. Like, I love watching my plants grow. Like, I find the maintenance to be the best part of my week. Like, I love taking care of my plants. First thing you want to do is rotate your plants. The only reason this is important, one of the biggest reasons this is important, because your plant will start to tilt. All the leaves will start tilting towards the sun. So if you want a plant to grow directly vertical or just look more balanced, just rotate your plant around so that and then wait till the leaves kind of like face the light again, turn it again, just continue to turn it, or turn it like a quarter every week or so. The next thing is just checking your leaves, just kind of making sure that, like, if your pothos is getting a little too droopy, you want your pothos to be more perky, so that probably means it needs more water. Some of them turn yellow. You want to get rid of the yellow leaves. You don't want your plant to have to be focusing on providing nutrients for that leaf, because then it might just kill the rest of your plant. Check the undersides for pests. Do a little gauge over your plant's leaves. If they look bad, do some research, see what needs to be done. But for the most part, I don't really check them that often. It kind of stands out if it needs to be dealt with, but it's something good to remember. Another thing is wiping your leaves. So with your bigger leaves, like the fig tree or the monstera or even this little palea, you want to think of them as solar panels. This is the example that I have been given. Solar panels, if there's like dust over them, they're not getting the energy that it needs to provide energy for us, electricity for us. So if you think about it that way, they retain the sunlight through their leaves. That's how plants get their energy. So if the plant leaf is dusty, it's going to have a filtered ingestion of light. Ingestion? I don't know how to even say that. This is too much science for me. Way too much science. But basically you want to just, like, when you notice your plants are getting a little dirty, or even just once a week, just wipe your leaves off. Spray some water, grab a paper towel, and then just gently wipe the leaves off, and that will help your plant get better light. The next is a humidifier, which I kind of talked about briefly already. You just want a moist environment for your plants. Humid environment. A lot of plants like humid environments. If you think about it, a lot of your plants are if you get like jungle plants, like I like tropical plants. So where did the tropical plants come from? Places that were like rainforests, where it's super moist and humid. So you want to kind of replicate that in your house if you can. Obviously, don't do it to your own well-being. If you can't handle that, don't do that. But you want a semi-moist environment, and spritzing your plants is not going to do that. You want to get a humidifier. So definitely do that. The next thing is just feel the soil every now and again. If you notice your plants might be doing something, you're like, why is my plant not doing that? Why is it not growing right? Feel the soil. It's probably needing some water. Like, honestly, most of the issues can be fixed with water, but don't overwater. I know a lot of people are freaking out about overwatering. Why do I always do that? I always just close one eye for some reason. And I've noticed that only because I keep watching my videos back. It's weird. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of go over the sections where you guys asked questions or left tips. So one of the things I already kind of mentioned was a lot of people mentioned don't overwater your plants, which we already went over, and it's kind of a scary thing to hear from people because you don't really know what that means. So hopefully my advice gave a little bit of help. You will have to do your research on that. That's just the way it goes. Bailey said, my to-be sister-in-law has left a comment of, leave your plants in those plastic inserts and they'll be better for drainage and easy to move, which I totally agree with. A lot of people even just buy those little plastic things and then just buy other pots that are cuter and just stick them in there. Like, you don't need to have the pots be where your plants live in. It's actually just a lot easier just to move around, better drainage, all the things. So definitely agree with that one. Kenzie Harryford, sorry if I messed that up. She said, don't overwater or overlove. As for questions, a lot of people just said they kill every plant on accident, too much research and time. I get that. If you're one of those people, get the easy ones. Like, you can still brighten up your... I'm so sorry. Cat. Move. Really? Oh my gosh. Hi. Do you need attention? I know that research sucks on plants. I know it takes a lot of time. But, so sorry. My freaking cat is just being really loud right now. I think it's totally worth it. Like, it's so rewarding to be a plant parent, which is so funny to say, but it's just so much fun. Like, I love watching my plants grow from tiny little babies into big, flourishing things. So, I understand that there's a lot of time and effort to go into it, but if you have the time, it's definitely a rewarding process if you like to do that. So, Jazz asked, I have a coffee plant, and I don't know how to help it thrive. Oh, Jazz, this book is for you. I will just kind of let you know what this book has to say about them lovely money plants. Coffee plant. Oh, you said coffee plant. I killed my coffee plant. I don't think I can help you with that one. That is the one and only plant I have killed. But let me do some research real quick. Okay, so I just looked it up. Jazz, and it said coffee plants prefer acidic soil. If your plant is not thriving, add organic matter such as peat moss to increase the pH. That's probably what I did wrong because, yeah, I didn't do that. I also do know that coffee plants will tell you when they need to be watered. If their leaves are super droopy, water it. Hopefully it'll stand back up. Maybe some good drainage. It likes humidity. If your house or wherever you're growing your plant is below 65 degrees, it will kill your plant, is what it's saying. So there are my tips for your coffee plant. Honestly, I killed my coffee plant, so I don't really know that well, but hopefully that helped. Anyways, sorry this video was so all over the place. It was like kind of my first plant video, and I was a little intimidated because I've done a lot of research on plants recently, so I have a lot of information I retained, and I don't know if it came out right. I'm really not good at explaining things, but I love my plants, and I want to talk about my plants, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like more plant videos, more simple plant videos, let me know. Leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to get to 100 subscribers right now. We're almost halfway there. So if you guys could subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell, it would help me out so much. Some of the things you guys have to look forward to. I'm going to New York in a couple weeks. Not that you guys are super excited about that, but there will be a video on that. I have some more wedding videos coming out. I might do some cozy games, some Switch games that I'm digging because it's something fun I enjoy. So I might do some of that. And I also might do some branding stuff. So there's a lot to dig in on this channel. I'm not really one specific thing, and I'm just kind of finding out what people like. So, oh, and I do have that DIY video coming out that you guys voted on. So that will be next after this video. I'm actually recording it this afternoon. So stick around. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. Hit the post notifications. You won't regret it. Anyways, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.